something, you get a higher rate of failure with a brand new vehicle. And that is covered by your vehicle warranty. So that's why the car companies give you a vehicle warranty, because everyone kind of knows there's a break-in phase for anything that's new. Once you get through the break-in phase, you're into the middle life phase. And this is the part we all like to be in because it's low maintenance. We change the oil, we just move on. We do all the things they say you have to do to maintain your middle life phase. And the longer you can sustain this, the better. Eventually, it will wear out. Your car will wear out. Your repair costs start coming up. And it gets to a point where it gets so expensive, you're saying, I want to buy a new car. This is more, it costs me more money to keep this car than to buy a new car and start down this bathtub curve again. So that's what happens, you know, and just had my wife's car in about 2 weeks ago. We had the idiot light come on somewhere in the middle life phase, hopefully with it. And the light came on and said, engine problems, but it came on yellow. If it came on red, it means it got to stop driving instantly. So it came on yellow, took it to the garage. Turns out it wasn't a big thing. They think it's an error in the sensor, and they fix something, and we're off to the races again. So that's how we learn about our failures and what's going on and how we keep our asset in good health. No different with a pipeline. We keep the asset in good health. We have, in Enbridge for instance, we have the control center here at Edmonton that monitors the pressure, flow rate, and temperatures of all our pipelines in North America, all our liquid pipelines in North America. The gas pipelines that Enbridge have are all monitored out of Houston. So what's the idiot light for my idiot light? What's idiot light for a pipeline that comes on? So what pipeline companies do is they use something called a smart pig. And I think it may surprise you of the technology that's involved with this. This is a hugely expensive piece of technology. It's a computer, it's packed full of batteries, and they run them down our pipeline on a regular business basis that you don't see because they're underneath the ground. On a brand new pipeline, we have to run one of these things within the first year of operation. So we can baseline it, and then we compare previous runs year after year to see how the pipeline is changing. There's various types of these pigs. For instance, I'll just back up a little bit. The oil in their pipeline runs between 4 and 6 kilometers an hour. So if you drop oil in your pipeline in Edmonton, it takes about 21 days to get to Houston. And so that's about the same distance. It takes about 21 days to get to Sarnia. It's one of the big delivery points, both the same distance. So these pigs flow in the oil stream at that same speed, and they flow through our lines. And when we get near the wear out phase, we probably put them through our lines once a year. When the pipelines are new, we put them through once every 10 years or so. And we can trend from year to year how things have changed in the pipeline. Very fancy technology. You'll see it's got called a magnetic flux leakage pig, which is exactly the same as an MRI, uses exactly the same technology as an MRI. It's high-tech stuff, expensive stuff. We use ultrasonic pigs, which is exactly the same technology you have in the medical industry for doing ultrasounds of people's body. Huge, huge stuff. We have, in addition to that, other tools around geometry. We can pick out dints in the pipe, come back and watch a dent grow or shrink or an oval or anything in the pipe. So this is our dashboard that we get to understand the health of our pipelines. And we know how we go and what we want to do. So very, very impressive stuff. So here's some examples of some of the feedback from that. So that's a sketch of what an ultrasonic pig would do. It would run through the line. Consider this is a 200 or 300 kilometer line, and it figures out every little pothole, pick everything in the pipe, cracks, whatever, it fixes it up and makes a big map of that. Here is an example of, we dug this pipe up, and this one you can see some external corrosion on the pipe. This is because the plastic coating that covered the pipe got a leak in it and the water got underneath the coating. So this was picked up by the ultrasound tool, and it came up and said, we have problems here. So we dug this up, we looked at it, and then a lot of these pits were not deep enough to actually affect the safety of the pipe because there's lots of extra wall thickness on the pipe. and then we recoded that. But these same pits will be monitored every time the pipe is run, and they'll be analyzed. So just look at that. That's like 1.5 feet of a pipe. It's obviously a bad part of a pipe, but that's the amount of, imagine the data these pipes, this tool gathers over 300 kilometers. It takes 6 months to analyze this by supercomputers to figure out and to track, this point up there, how it moved from this set to that set. Anyway, amazing technology here, and world-renowned, and right in line with all the medical technologies we have today. Another one here is, this is example of piston pipe. So this particular pig found a little defect in the bottom of the pipe, and you can see at the 6 o'clock position that the rock came up over time and hit the bottom of the pipe. This was identified by the pigs. This was dug up, the rock removed, and they figured out calculating the dent in the pipe to see if it was stressed out or within the factor of safety. And then slope stability, you get a pipe on the side of a ditch or something and the whole pipe starts to move. We've got the pipe here, this particular pipe buckled, and you can see on the computer all the stress points. The red is the high stress points, and they'll monitor that over a period of whatever time it's required, or if it comes to the point that's too much, they'll go in, dig it up, replace the pipe, or fix the pipe, or put a band around it or whatever to strengthen the pipe up. So huge technology that's used to help us find our way through that bathtub curve. Because when we get to the part where you want to replace your car, you want to return your car, that's what happens with the pipeline. So we had line 3 pipeline for Enbridge was replaced here about five years ago. It came to the end of the bathtub curve. And it was just so much more money to keep digging it up and doing things and doing this. We proved it, and we got CAP, which is the Canadian Energy Oil Group, to subsidize putting a new pipeline in. They could raise the pressures back up again, because over time we keep lowering the pressures just to not exceed the factor of safety. So this is all great stuff, but this happened to us. Marshall, Michigan, July 25, 2010. This is the largest land-based leak in North America's history. It cost Enbridge $1.5 billion in cleanup costs. A lot of it was covered by our insurance, which is good. But try to get the insurance again after this. I went to an insurance conference trying to convince them that we were good, showing them those other slides that we had here. But we did get our insurance, but at a little bit higher premium. I don't know, has anybody seen the program Elsbeth on TV? Yeah. So Elsbeth is a consent decree person, a lawyer, who was transplanted into, just a fictional thing, transplanted into the New York Police Department to make sure they're not screwing up, right? So they call that consent decree. So that's what Elsbeth did. We have 3 consent decree people from the US government put into our company to make sure we don't screw up as an Enbridge. I said we, I'm not there anymore, but so we have 3 consent decree people who nitpick everything that we do at Enbridge because they don't trust us anymore. That's what consent decree is all about. So we're hopefully working to trust them enough trust that the consent decree people leave. But these people are very expensive, and Enbridge has to pay for them. They're about triple what a normal person would get paid to be there. Not good times. They create so much effort. We have a whole department just feeding stuff to the consent decree people. A lot of them are in Toronto. So social license is not where we want to be. So what do we do from this? So basically, I could give a whole presentation on what caused this leak and everything, and it's a great presentation to do that sometime. But it was human error. You saw that great technology we have. It's great technology when used it, but we had a huge human error after human error after human error after human error piled on top of each other, and that's where we got to. So at the time, we had a consultant working with us from DuPont who was working on our personal safety. DuPont has been known for a very good personal safety program. So we talked to, obviously, DuPont were involved in this and talking about personal safety. And actually, at a side here, I had 3 employees that went down to help clean up the spill. It was an astounding job Enbridge did. I couldn't even believe it. The CEO of the company, 3 hours after this spill, was on his plane, went to Kalamazoo, Michigan, spent a month and a half there, and never came home. He went from living room to living room of all the people there and sat and talked to them. And that's how we all supported this. My 3 employees are down there. One was my safety officer, one was my environmentalist. She was down there cleaning up painted turtles. I had a land person down there sitting in the gymnasium. All he was doing is signing checks and hanging the people. Didn't even know their address or anything. He just came in, I need money here, just like this. It was quite a bizarre situation and very stressful for everybody involved. I wasn't at this leak, I was at a different one in Northwest Territories, but this was huge and a lot of work. So we went back to DuPont now, and they talked about the chemical industry. And the chemical industry has been down the social license road before. Just one example here, if people remember Union Carbide, it does not exist anymore. They lost their social license, and their social license was lost because of the Bhopal, India disaster with the pesticides, okay? That was the verge of where we felt at Enbridge we were. So we listened very carefully to the chemical industry, listened very carefully to DuPont, and they said,